Wanted to cover my 3.6 Stormburster called Keep Bursting. We have about 166,000 DPS on in-game tooltip. I'll show you the path of building damage here in just a second, which is I think 500,000. Basically, we're pure storm bursting. We're taking infused channeling for that boost and defense. I've done all the in-game content except for Uber Elder. The fight is very doable, but I will tell you now, it's not comfortable. You need to know the fight to pull it off, but it is very viable to do if you know how to kind of play a dodge and jab, because this is a very dodge and jab. Couple hits in, move, couple hits in, move. The energy leech that we have, that we're getting from our gear and our tree, keeps us at full life. It's a very safe build. Leveling to level 92 was super easy. Pretty painless. I could actually push it a lot harder, or a lot higher. I think I could probably get to 95, 96 comfortably. Build really doesn't need it. Level 93 does give a little extra because we'll pick up another jewel slot, but it's kind of there. So let's get into path of damage and cover our damage here. Because let's face it, that's what we always use this for. How much damage can I squeeze out? So we'll see our storm burst is 414,000 total DPS, which for something that has a kind of average hit aspect, that's really good. And it also doesn't include storm bursts kind of pop when you let go, where all the orbs smash. So that's kind of not really in this tree. We basically have a 75% crit chance and 374 crit multiplier, so that kind of helps out. The other key thing you'll notice is we have a lot of chaos damage. We're lightning and chaos is our two damage types. Because we're full converting to lightning, and then we're getting the harness the void and other conversions off of our gear to the chaos. So around the tree here, let's just cover that since we're here as well. For our ascendancy, we start out taking Swift Killer first. It's the most valuable node for us. We get Frenzy charges and maximum power charges, +1. Chance to gain either or on kill. We get more damage per each, and we gain power and frenzy charge while channeling, which is super key on fights like Shaper and Uber Elder and all the other kind of long-winded fights where you only have a very few modes to get charges back, because the channeling keeps our charges 24/7. We don't have to ever worry about not having charges, which is super, super nice. After taking Swift Killer, I went with Ghost Dancer because I needed the extra energy shield. Plus we get to pick up extra 5% chance to evade. We get the speed while we have energy shield, so which is always, because we're CI, we're either dead or we have speed. And we also get energy shield recovery. Not great because we don't have much evasion. I think we only have a little bit. Yeah, we only have like 2,000 evasion, and we're only going to be picking up 5% of that, so you won't notice that. Escape Artist is nice because we get the 12% cast speed per Ghost Shard. So as we're mapping, our Storm Burst is just like always max charging. But once again, we're CI, we always have Energy Shield, so it gives us an extra 20% chance to dodge spells. So, and a dodge, it's basically just kind of a complete void off of the attack, so 0 damage. And we also can't be stunned if we have Ghost Shrouds. That's back and forth on whether it's great, because your Ghost Shrouds kind of disappear in a hurry. A pack hits you, you're gone, then you're stunnable. So be aware you're not as stun immune as I was hoping you would be, but it does keep you from getting that instant stunned off of a pack, or during boss fights is where that comes in. Um, because really your charges will be up, so it keeps the boss from being able to get you into a stun lock. Then we took Harness the Void last because, well, let's face it, you know, the extra damage isn't needed while leveling, but it is super, super nice when you're in-game. For the actual tree, the way I built just comes straight out, grabbing damage, energy nodes, get our crit, and then I started rushing my frenzy charges and power charges as fast as I could to get all of them. That way I was at 7 charges and 5 frenzies early on. That's the biggest way to get tons of damage really quick. After that, your tree is really easy to get Lucidity, which helps with mana sustain, and then started picking up Life Eater or Light Eater for the leech. I originally was going to do this with a staff, the Disintegrator staff. I was having trouble pushing my energy shield high enough. I was only around 5,000 energy shield, not good enough. So went with the shield options. So these 2 shield nodes. Takes a bit more on the, or costs you a bit more point wise. But you still keep all the damage and you get a lot better, more comfortable energy shield level. Any of the key things, just Arcane Will, Arcane Focus, pick up our multi, get our crits for our spells, energy shield, nothing too fancy here until we get around to, we do take the channeling nodes obviously, because why wouldn't you? And then Sovereignty, because that allows us to run Wrath, Herald of Thunder, Discipline, if we have it on Lighten. You can technically do it with a Lighten too, which is what I did for most of it while I leveled it. You can see that you still have, even with a level 2 Enlighten, you still have about 137-ish mana. And with a level 3, you have 183. Now one thing you could do, once you have a level 3 Enlighten, or if you have a level 4 and you don't want to sell it, you can then actually swap these 2 nodes and do that. That drives your level down a bit. Sorry, I've got these left on. That's the problem. I was testing things in the tree. You turn these on and you'll still have 3% of mana, which is 34. I tested it with 34 mana. It's comfortable. You can keep up your channeling non-stop, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then that drives your levels down to 91. Or you can just leave it and have much more comfortable mana pocket or level. Potentially this could work out a little bit to save you, to give you a little bit more damage, and I'll explain that here in just a second. Outside of that, in the tree, nothing fancy. We do pick up our Watcher's Eye. I ran it with Wrath. It was comfortable, completely comfortable. You don't have to have the Discipline one. The Discipline one just makes it feel so much better, obviously. If you go Wrath, go with the Wrath, have Elemental Penetration while having Wrath. This is, but this just kind of makes you pop. I had to buy it for a different build, tried it on this one, and it's really comfortable because you're blitzing or hitting so much. But it's not going to keep you at full against a big boss fight. It's more of, there's not a single pack, especially in Synthesis fragments and memory fragments, where you have a whole lot of crap just hitting you from a whole lot of angles all over the screen. It makes it feel a lot more comfortable, but I had no problem leveling to 91 before I even shifted this out. That pretty much covers it for the tree. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Damage for items, I'm running a Ephirian Needle, basically dispel damage, cast speed, crit, gain 7% of lightning damage as extra chaos. Because we're doing everything as lightning, we're doing no non-lightning damage. I was able to get this because it's cheaper. So cost saving tip there, kids. Alright. Val Spirit Shield. What's it? Just as much energy shield as I can squeeze on it, plus anything else I could get to boost damage. Same for the helm. 40% increased storm burst damage. The extra ball doesn't do much for damage. It's better to get this one. When it used to be that, you know, you're kind of spraying them out, that was different. Now that it's a channel and works the way it does now, not really so much needed to get the other ones. I wish they kind of would have updated the options when they reworked the skill. Just ES. Durion's Delusion still seems to be the best in slot for these. Just because you get a lot of lightning damage, good energy shield, movement speed. There's probably other better boots out there. They just get really expensive, and these aren't that expensive. Anything better than this gets into like EX ranges, and I think these were like, I think I paid like 15 chaos or something, if that, and that was, it's probably down much more. Rest of it, nothing special, just ES and damage wherever you can get it. Roomies we run because we want to get our block chance and spell block up to 49 and 79. Flask just for extra damage. And then standard kind of thing, flask things. I find that Quicksilver works. I don't really need another utility. And with the exception of fighting fire bosses, anything that has a high chance to burn. What'll happen sometimes is because we kind of do rely on ES Leech, is if you get ignited and the boss dies, there's no way to regen life, so burning can kill you. It actually happened pretty much almost twice in my T16 Uber Guardian fights. The fire one basically ignited me and then went into his phase mode, transition mode, and I died. And the end of it, beat him and died because the burning. And I was just lazy. I just needed a burning flask. Grab anything that you can get with, you know, extra energy shield, those kinds of things. Damage. Picked up 15 cold resist to fix some resist aspects after I changed the ring. Now, I do want to talk about rings. So you'll notice that I'm carrying minus 13 mana cost on my rings. Typically I had it split originally between two, but then I needed a perfect roll. Or I really wanted to carry this extra damage. And to do that I had to squeeze in 13 on this. You can do 2 5s or 2 7s. I was just trying to save a slot or a suffix basically so I could put more damage on here. So that's kind of where we're at with gear. Nothing too fancy. I probably, including the Watcher's Eye, getting the body armor, everything like that, I think I've spent a total about 7 EX. Nothing too bad for it being an ES build. I do want to load this up real quick here, just to give you guys a quick look here at our wands. Actually, come on. There we go. Thought I had this loaded in there. Here we go. As you can see, we pick up about 100,000 extra DPS. But you are going to take that damage. It's during leveling, you don't feel it at all, because you are leeching, and because it's doing damage as you're leeching, your leech doesn't stop, so you don't have the, you know, leech stops when you're at full effect. So your leeching is basically offsetting all the damage, but you still have 7 power charges, so that's 1400 base lightning damage. Then, you know, take a third of that away, you're still looking at 500 or 600 lightning damage to absorb, which you easily do, don't get me wrong. But it really does. You'll notice that you don't stay full energy shield very much. You're probably about 80% on your energy shield is where it just stays while you're mapping. because of the degen. But still, when you got 7,000, that still leaves you about 5,000 while you're running around maps. Most things just instantly die. So it's a really good option, especially when leveling, sort of leveling 65 up, because it's super cheap, because nobody wants to deal with that offset of the degen. But I found, you know, my current wand works pretty well. Don't have to worry about it too much. Sometimes when I'm fighting Elder or something, I'll try and do this, because the Shimmeron's basically, it hurts a lot when you get into some fights, but the damage is very good. It helps with speeding the transition phases up. So that's pretty much for the gear, the tree, and the items. For skills, the setup with Storm Burst, concentrated effect, physical to lightning, so we're doing 100% lightning damage. Energy leech, infused channeling, that gives us extra lightning resist, so that helps when we do want to run a Shimmeron. Plus, you'll see on the shield, I just kind of got lucky. It wasn't a requirement. Weapon 2 shield. I've got 6% of physical damage from hits taken as lightning damage. So that kind of just helps out on there. And then lightning penetration for kind of wrapping that all up. We do Immortal Call, cast when damage taken, and Frost Wall. This is great for random distant packs of mobs that shoot kind of projectiles. It'll build the projectile. Check my other videos that explain how that works. Lightning Golem, Flame Dash, Fasting Casting. We've covered the Heralds. I run Stormbrand, Blind, Curse on Hit, and Warlord's Mark. I could probably, and I have done this, change to Temp Change, or even a Feeble. If you change the Temp Change, you don't leech as much, and you don't have endurance charges. Not that it's a big deal, it just powers your Immortal Call a little longer, but not much, because we're only running 3. But you put Temp Chains on, everything's moving so slow, especially with the changes to Temp Change on bosses and things. Everything's moving so slow that the leech difference really doesn't matter. Now, if you're running Shimmeron, you have to run Warlords, or you're not leeching enough to make it at all comfortable. You can actually drive your life down. The other challenge was trying to get some of this balance is Shimmerons and maps with, you know, minus resist hurt. You can do them. They're just a pain. You'll have to run Warlords if you're on those mods. So I've kind of just left it. Now that I've got another wand where I'm not running Shimmeron, I'll probably change Warlords to Temp Change. I think that would be the better option. Running Blind so that they can't, you know, basically 10% chance to blind on a Stormbrand. Everything's blinded almost all the time. Orb of Storms, added lightning damage, increased critical strikes, and culling strike. Orb of Storms has a good amount of damage, and the amount that we're doing, the fact that our Orb of Storms alone is 112,000 DPS on top. So drop that sucker down and just go to town, and it is just ripping through stuff on its own, because it is casting so much lightning inside of it. Between the Storm Burst going off and our Stormbrand, yeah, orbs just going off all the time. Stormbrand, it's not really doing a whole lot, just it's there for utility. I did think or debate on kind of switching out to kind of be a co-Stormburst Stormbrand. Might do it next league. I think it has some potential where you're kind of using Stormbrand for extra added clear and those times when you just need to recover. But different build, different time. For Bandit, took Alira for the crit multiplier and easy to get resist. So that pretty much covers that. We've covered the gear. As you can see, nothing special. We've covered the potions, we've covered skills, so that's pretty much it. Going to kind of just, you know, leave you some clips of some in-game. Like I said, the fire guy kind of gave me a little bit of a pain because I should have took a burning potion with me just so I could cleanse the burn. Outside of that, good to go. And have a great day. Subscribe, like, share with your friends, and see you next time.